Welcome back, Camden Catholic. So, today we started talking about in class the Persian Wars, right? So, hopefully by the end of this flip, we'll be able to wrap a lot of this stuff up and then keep pushing forward, okay? So, what we got to in class today, we talked about the First Persian War being much more about a battle over Greek what? Good job, Danessa. Different Greek colonies, right? What was the biggest Greek colony that we talked about today, though? Anybody want to? Good job, Kyle Hardy. The colony of Ionia, right? So very, very important thing to remember, and how their rebellion was crushed quickly by the Persians. However, Athenians had been sending weapons to the Ionians and things like that, so this created a lot of resentment, right? So the biggest battle of the Second Persian War, though, which was started mainly out of spite because of the Persian influence against Athens after helping out the Ionians, the big one was the Battle of Marathon, right? The Greeks were completely outnumbered and defeated a much larger Persian force, okay? They actually killed 6,400 Persians. Now, the big thing, though, is that this guy, right? Very, very famous person from the Battle of Marathon. This guy's name is Philippides, okay? Or, excuse me, Phytopedes. Now, anyway, Phytopedes carried a message of victory home to Athens, right? 26.2 miles away. And that's actually the distance of a marathon. And he did the entire thing wearing absolutely no shoes. And then, when he got into the chamber room of Athens and told the Archon that they had won the Battle of Marathon, he ran the entire 26 miles and then said, "Rejoice, we have conquered. Nike." And then he fell out flat dead. All right? So anyway, because Nike is actually the personification of the Greek god of victory. All right? So anyway, and that's where the brand for the sports name comes from. So anyway, but yeah, then he just died. So the results of the Second Persian War, though, which was actually a victory for the Greeks, which was massively impressive, was because they were able mainly to suppress the invasions of the Persians, was the Athenians realized that they had one gigantic advantage over the Persians, the Spartans, and a lot of other Greek city-states out there. It was their naval fleet, right? Where Spartan was the power on the land, the Athenians were the power in the water, all right? So, the Athenians built faster ships to prepare for another attack, and Athens is going to begin to start laying the foundations for the very, very first Greek city-state alliance in terms of the military, okay? So, this right here, that is an Athenian ship, okay? So, of course, we can notice a couple things about it out the gate. Number one, it is powered by wind, yes. Also, man-powered with the oars down here and the slaves in the bottom that would row the boat. But the coolest thing that a lot of y'all can't see, and you should probably write down somewhere next to the fleet thing, is the weaponry that it actually employed. So, as you can see, the front of it is very, very wedge-shaped, but underneath of it, under the water, is a very, very large, sharpened battering ram. So the main method of attack from an Athenian ship that the Persians actually did not do, because the Persians wanted to board other vessels, the Athenians would row the boat straight into another ship, pop a hole in the bottom, and sink it, or scuttle it, all right? So anyway, very, very neat little apparatus that the Athenians actually added to their ships to become more dominant, right? Now, the Third Persian War, though, breaks out because the Persians want revenge, all right? And they are particularly aggravated with Athens, right? They lost a major battle at the Battle of Marathon. This is at 480 BC. Also, it was a different guy leading it, right? A lot of this is actually from a guy named Xerxes, okay? The king of Persia at the time, write this down, king of Persia, Xerxes, Xerxes. And then what I want you to do, circle it a couple big times like that, right? Just so I know when I'm coming around checking your flip tomorrow, they'll be like, oh, boom, they did it, right? So anyway, the Persians wanted revenge. So they came after Athens both by land and by sea. And of course, one of the biggest and most major battle from the Third Persian War is the battle at Thermopylae, right? So Athens was in a very, very bad spot, and the Persians stormed all the way through Athens, burned it along the way, and as they infringed on Spartan territory, the Spartan king Leonidas had actually heard of this. King Leonidas, 60 years old at the time, took 6,000 Spartans up against 200,000 Persians. Now, granted, he didn't win, but he struck a massive blow against the Persians, right? So, the movie 300 depicts it in a very Hollywood way, and it's not very factual whatsoever, but it's a lot of fun, and we're going to use that movie to talk about the phalanx tomorrow, okay? So, but the Battle of Thermopylae was a major turning point in the war, okay? Now, mainly because after that was the Battle of the Strait of Salamis. It was a naval battle, and the Persian fleet was completely sunk following the battle against Leonidas. But also, the thing about it is, Leonidas struck a major blow with the Spartans at the Battle of Thermopylae, because they showed the Persians their weaknesses, and that actually the Greek military formations and what they had in place was stronger than the tactics of the Persians, right? The Battle of Plataea a year later would actually completely destroy the rest of the Persian forces and completely remove them from ancient Greece, and their influence would stay over in Persia. Now, the last couple things we got to talk about, the results though, Athens is going to continue to increase its status among the city-states. Some of you are like, wait a minute, I thought they were burned. They were, but again, they were the final blow to the Persians winning the war, okay? So Athens actually set up a permanent alliance with the other city-states, but they were in charge of it, right? And that alliance is going to come up in the next slide. Sparta is not very happy about this at all. They don't want to be in an alliance. They don't even want to help many people. They want people to just leave them alone and let them lead their own culture. Why is Sparta also not happy about this? Let's say Sparta decides to go and invade one of these cities that's in an alliance with Athens. That means now they have to fight Athens, right? That's really, really cumbersome for the Spartans. Now, continuing forward, though, alliance was headed up by Pericles. We're going to talk about him tomorrow. And this was to defend from further Persian invasion. Now, they collected dues from all of the members, but the problem was that the money that was collected from the Delian League is actually going to be funneled, which is the Delian League right here, right? You see it? The Delian League formed. That's the military alliance. So right here, that is the military alliance. It's called the Delian League. Now, the money collected from the Delian League dues just went to pay for things in Athens. How is that fair, right? So, also, you had to have a democracy to be in the Delian League. Sparta, not happy about this at all, which is going to lead to some further wars later on, all right? So we'll get into classical Greece tomorrow. We're going to kind of mess around a little bit and actually get back up to speed with review. Going to make sure you all know what's going on. Can't wait to see y'all then, Camden Catholic. Enjoy the rest of your evening.